Good morning, mi gente. So I said I was gonna go live every single day. That has not happened. There's no way that that can happen. There's a lot of things that happen in my life that don't allow me to go live. It was wishful thinking of me to do that, and today I decided to go live as I'm in the middle of doing work and doing a lot of things. Um, I wanted to take this opportunity to ask forgiveness because, sometimes we make promises we cannot keep. That was one promise I made to you that I did not keep. I cannot go live every day as much as I want to. It is not possible. So, mi gente, let's be real. We all have something to um, do. We all have things in our lives that prevent us from getting to where we want to go. We just cannot stop there. We just have to keep going, keep moving forward. And when you make a mistake, own up to it. Just don't do it again. And learn from that mistake. If you don't learn from the mistake, then there's nothing to be said about going over a mistake over and over and over again. So today, I want to chat with you about burnout, AI, money, and reinventing yourself. The reality is that for 2026, a lot of things are happening. AI is moving faster than we can even imagine and think. A lot of things are changing. The truth about starting over this year is that one, you need AI. You need to become familiar with AI, whether you like it or not. AI is here to stay. So you need AI, right? If you're burned out, you need to fine tune in recalibrating yourself. You need to take a step back. Um, you need to think about the things that are not working for you right now. You need to also, think about what is it that you want from life. What has worked so far for you? You need to relax. You need to look within. Looking out just stresses you more, just gets you outside of where you need to be. And you need to find alignment. Alignment is found in silence, in meditation, and pretty much taking care of your inner self. And when you are, burned out, and I say burned out because I went through something, people, and people burned out all the time. Jobs feel unstable right now. AI is changing industry faster than most people realize. Let's be honest and realistic on this. A lot of people are experiencing and going through job changes, and that creates a lot of emotional, financial, and professional instability, right? So a lot of people secretly feel like they need to start over in all of those. You need to start over emotionally, you need to start over financially or professionally, either because you have been let go, because things are changing in your life, right? Entrepreneurs are overwhelmed by nature because we have a lot of moving pieces. We have a lot of things that happen that we need to take care of, that we need to do, that we handle. The thing is, we don't want that to be the deciding factor of our life, right? So what we want to do is we want to, and forgive me, but I'm going to be back and forth because I have multiple screens going on here and now multiple cameras. So forgive me from the beginning because of that. So let me move the keyboard here so it doesn't look like I'm so far away, right? So as an entrepreneur myself, I get up really early and I look at my day in a way in which a lot of people don't look at their day, right? I tend to, believe it or not, I tend to first take care of myself. And this is for those people that are feeling burned out, right? Those people that are feeling like they're overwhelmed with what's going on in their life, right? Today, I want to talk honestly about what happens when life forces you to reinvent yourself when life, and I have a friend that she hates the word forces you. So I want you not to see it as a force. I want you to see it as when you have no other option. It's the same thing, right? Just use a different word for the word force. But for me, it forces you to reinvent yourself, and it forces you to make a decision on how am I going to use AI? How am I going to make money? How am I going to fix the burnout? And then it all collides all together into either becoming an entrepreneur or reinventing yourself to do something while you get back on track professionally, right? So everything aligns perfectly with who I am as an entrepreneur, because I I say often that I've been an entrepreneur my entire life because I pivot from one side to the other. I also said often that entrepreneurship is in my DNA, it's in my blood, right? So if it's not in your blood, take it from me. Overwhelmed, burned out, that happens to all entrepreneurs. It's not, it just becomes second nature. So, where I hope I can help you through and I can give you some um, experience that I have by sharing my expertise is by telling you that it doesn't end there, right? I had to reinvent myself over and over again, multiple times. Every time something doesn't feel as it needs to be, I need to pivot. So think of it that way. Think of it as in you need to make changes so that your life can work the way it needs to work. Don't feel like because you had to take a job that you were not expecting, because you had to take any job because you need to put food on your table and you need to keep a roof over your head. Don't feel bad about that. You're making ends meet in the only way that you can. And be grateful because you have a job. That job is going to provide for you. As an entrepreneur, you are always grateful for the clients that come in and seek your expertise, seek for your help in getting them where they need to go, right? If you need to do both at the same time, I'm not saying I don't recommend it. You can get burned out, right? I did it for a while. I I did it for a while. I did a lot of things in the essence of reinventing myself, in the essence of looking for who I am and finding uh, en el bureau debajo, like underneath on the outside where the cabinets are, there's like a box. Okay, so that was a little pause because my husband is at the bakery. As you all know, my husband has a bakery in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and he was trying to find Splenda in one of the cabinets because he couldn't find it. So, forgive the interruption. So, going back to what we were saying, we were talking about, and you feel like a little silent. We were talking about 2026 feeling different. We were talking about everything changing. We were talking about the truth about starting over, about reinventing yourself, about not feeling bad that you didn't acquire the job that you wanted, that, AI is changing business. It's changing small businesses. It's changing absolutely everything that you're doing, right? Jobs feel unstable. I get it, right? I get it. AI is changing industries faster than most people realize. And entrepreneurs are overwhelmed. Yes, that's the nature of the business. You want to be an entrepreneur? Expect to be overwhelmed because you're going to have to do and where you're going to have to do more than what you typically do on a regular job. And you're going to have to wear multiple hats. That is normal. That is the reality. Accept it if you're an entrepreneur or plan to become an entrepreneur and reinvent yourself as an entrepreneur. That's just what it is, right? There's no changing that. I'm a strong believer that things are the way they are. And if you're not able to change the things the way they are, then you need to figure out how you're going to live with that situation. That's just how it is, right? If it's not on my hands to be able to change things, then and I'm not able to get anybody to do the changes for me or figure out another way of doing things, then how am I going to move on and work with what I have? You can only work with what you have on hand and make decisions based on what you have on hand. You can't be, wishful thinking on things. You need to know what you have tangible to make a decision and just make it. That's just the end of it. That's one of the things that a lot of people might think, oh my God, that is so controversial. It's controversial because we should be able to change things. Yes, when you can, go ahead, change it. I'm not saying don't, but what if you cannot? What if there is not in your power anything that can change that, right? I'll give you an example. If it's sunny right now and you check the weather and the weather says it's going to rain, you're either going to do one or two things. You're going to say, well, it might not rain, so I'm going to leave the umbrella. Or you're going to take an umbrella with you in the event that it's going to rain, right? But if you're already outside and being outside, you had no idea. There's no forecast that it's going to rain. You had no clue that it was going to rain. And you are outside. You didn't bring an umbrella with you. What are you going to do? See if it starts raining. You're going to figure out how not to get wet. You're going to find a place where you're not going to get wet. Or you're simply going to say, okay, let me just walk in the rain. Right? Let me dance in the rain. Right? Because you didn't know if it was or it wasn't going to rain. So that's what you do, right? So, mi gente, I've been talking for like 15 minutes nonstop, but this feels like, we're talking about something that honestly, I think millions of people are feeling right now, but not enough people are talking about, right? Not a lot of people are talking about the way they're feeling, the burnout, the pressure that they have no money, right? How AI is changing their life. They're not talking entrepreneurship, right? They're not talking about that they feel lost, right? A lot of people feel lost, like feeling behind where you want to be, right? That you don't feel that you have accomplished enough for your, that you haven't accomplished what you were meant to accomplish. And to be honest with you, I've been there. I felt that way before. I felt like life is forcing me into reinventing myself, whether I want it or not. right? Life is doing that for me. I'm not saying that that's what everybody should do. I'm just saying that's what I have done. That's what I gone through. That's what I done, right? There have come a time in which I felt that I really had to have an honest conversation with myself. 2026 is feeling different. It is feeling exhausting, right? Some people are trying to leave corporate. Some people are trying to survive entrepreneurship. Some people are trying to figure out how they're going to fit AI into their future, into their life. And a lot of people are quietly wondering, am I falling behind? Right? Let's talk about that, right? Because it is important that we talk about how are we feeling? How is, from one entrepreneur to another, how are you feeling about this, right? Before we start, I want you to comment one word at whatever time you're seeing this. I want you to comment one word in the chat. Rebuilding. If you feel like you're rebuilding any part of your life right now. And if you're overwhelmed, I want you to comment overwhelmed. If you're feeling burnout, I want you to comment burned out. Like, what are you feeling? What is that one word that describes how you're feeling right now in 2026? And I hope and I pray that everyone is saying that you're rebuilding, that you're feeling engaged, that you're feeling amazing, that you're feeling loved, that you're feeling, mentally satisfied, financially satisfied, that things are wonderful in your life, right? But the reality is another. I think one of the biggest things that is happening right now is that people are mentally overloaded. Like, there is so much. We're consuming so much information now. There's more information available. There's more pressure. There is more comparison, right? Comparing one person to another, comparing one job to the other, comparing one salary to the other. There's more fear. There's a lot of things going on in this world, right? Let's talk about war, right? Right now, there's the war, U.S., Israel, and Iran. Like, what else can you get in addition to going through this whole uncertainty situation of industry, revamping? We have a war going on, right? And then uncertainty is more active now than ever before in probably a lot of people's lives, right? AI is changing business. Social media is changing. It's now interest media, right? There's a lot of changes through algorithms and things that are going on, right? So jobs are changing. People need to start adapting to the new AI era, right? Technology is evolving. Marketing is changing. The way you tell people about what you do, what your business does, that's changing too. The economy feels unstable. I don't know where you are, but here in Massachusetts, last Monday? Last Monday, I went to the gas station with my husband. We were running errands, and we stopped at the gas station. This is supposed to be the cheapest gas station, okay, in our area, right? This is supposed to be the cheapest gas station in our area. We've been going to this gas station because it is always a few cents less than everybody else around us, right? So we go to the gas station. I have the rewards, I put in my phone number so that I can get the additional discount and then get rewards for it. Well, I got that. So I put in my number and I'm like, wait, this is not deducting the extra cents. And I'm like, it is 8 cents, but on a tank that is like 20 gallons, it makes sense, right? So I go to the stand and I tell the lady, it's not doing the deduction. And she's like, no, it already did. It's 10 cents more. And I'm like, what? I was in shock that I was paying almost $5.50 5.30 actually. It was 5.29 for a gallon of gas. Okay? $5.29 for a gallon of gas. I'm sure that there are other states like California, Texas, New York that is even more. And not saying that Massachusetts is not any least expensive, because Massachusetts is Massachusetts, super expensive. But what I'm saying is, I was, oh my God, people are trying to survive here. And financially, I would even, right? Because if I'm paying $1 extra from what I was paying last month in gas, I need to consider that I need to increase my prices to apply to that. And I'm speaking to businesses that do need to increase their prices. And I'm speaking to people that need to make those adjustments because they live budget by budget, right? So that's mentally draining. That puts so much pressure on your head that you're just trying to stay mentally healthy. And all of these changes in the economy, war, AI, all of these things are just making you feel 1,000% overwhelmed. And with this conversation, I'm not trying for you to feel, overwhelmed. I just want to acknowledge and recognize that we are going through a lot, that you are going through a lot. And we don't need to go at it alone. We can all do it together. That it is true, right? The truth is that many people are burnt out. Many people are overwhelmed. And it's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're not doing things. It's not that things are not working. It's that, we're just trying to survive for as long as we can. And we've been surviving for too long now, right? The geopolitical environment, the socioeconomic environment of the US is very unstable today. I don't care what anybody has to say. It is unstable. And people saying small businesses are thriving, lies you tell yourself. Okay? I can only speak for what I see in Massachusetts and for the businesses that I speak to every day. And I can tell you that people are on survival mode. People are overwhelmed. People are not lazy. They're doing their work. They're trying hard every day. They're moving forward. They're doing things. So overworking, under-earning, people pleasing. Yes, we see a lot of that too. Sacrificing themselves, having to choose between your dreams and reality, right? Ignoring their health, ignoring their dreams, right? And staying in environments they have outgrown. A lot of people have spent years in that. A lot of people have spent years overworking, under-earning, people pleasing, sacrificing themselves, ignoring their own health, ignoring their dreams, and staying in an environment where they're not safe, where they feel that environment is no longer what they want for their future. And eventually your mind and your body will force you to pay attention. It will force you to pay attention. It will force you to actually take a step back and think about all of those things, right? It's going to make you take a stop and realize this is impossible. And, what's interesting? Sometimes burnout is not a sign to stop, right? I'm a strong believer of that. Because you're burnt out doesn't mean that you just stop there. Sometimes burnout is a sign that whatever you've been doing is not working. So your current structure no longer aligns with who you are becoming. So you outgrown your structure. You outgrown who you were, right? So you need to start making room for who you're becoming, And that's hard, right? Making those decisions is very, very difficult. It's very difficult because growth sounds beautiful online. Growth sounds amazing when you're saying it, until it requires you to make changes, until it requires for you to adjust things, right? Until you need to move things a little, right? So that they work. Um, and let me tell you, growth sometimes means change where you live, change your habits, change your income strategy, how you're making money, change the people around you, like your friendship, who you are with, because you outgrown those two, right? They don't have the same thought and value that you did when you guys became friends, right? And then it also changes your identity. It changes who you are, because then it changes what you tolerate and what you allow from others. A lot of people are in the transition right now. And I can tell you, in my personal experience, every time I'm becoming the best version of myself, I'm looking at those things. I'm looking at, what is my environment looking at? Like, what does it look like? Am I feeling like tight where I cannot breathe and expand? What am I doing every day that is not working for me? What do I need to pivot? What do I need to change? What are the things that I need to move around so that I can be the best version of myself and become the best me, right? So, talking about friendships and such, right? And those change over time. It doesn't mean that you stop being friends with people. It just means that your soul, your body, your mind now requires a different type of intellect to be with you, a different type of mentality and individuals to be part of your journey. So you adjust what those friendships are as you go. You have friends that are there always, forever, are always there supporting you, whether they are on your day to day or they're on the sidelines. There are friends that are there with you forever. But there are people who are in your friendship cycle or in your friendship bucket, let's call it, that come and go. They are part of your life in certain aspects of your life, not in all aspects of your life. And it's important to know that and identify who is your ride or die friend that is with you forever, that even if you spend a year or two without talking, when you guys get together again, like when you when you are together with those individuals, you feel fulfilled. You feel like you never stop talking, right? Then you also have those friends that teach you the lessons that make you a better version of yourself, that come and go. They're always your friends. They come and go. You have those friends that are sounding boards, that they hear you, maybe advise you in some cases. Other cases, individuals who suppress you. And I shouldn't say suppress. It's more of that are the negative friends, right? The ones that are always thinking, oh my God, you want to do that? Why? Like they're always questioning you. They're not trusting on what you can do. And those are friends that I'm not saying you want to keep far away, but those are friends that you want to have selective hearing from, right? Because that negativity then can attach to you. And that's what I mean when I say we tolerate, you need to change what you tolerate by identifying what your values are, right? So you need to check what that is, right? You need to check what you value, and do I tolerate that from friends or not? Do I need to eliminate those friends because I don't tolerate what they're saying? I don't tolerate what they're doing. You know what I mean? So you need to think of that. So when you're transitioning, and we are transitioning right now, a lot of things are changing right now. So people are in the transition right now, right? So you can feel it. People are questioning a lot of things. I mean, I question a lot of things. Do I really want this life? Do I really want this career? Do I really want freedom? Do I really want ownership? Do I want peace? Right? Do I want money? That's deeper than business, right? That's identity. Those are your values. That's like what do you identify as your priority, right? Life, career, freedom, ownership, peace, right? They all intertwine. Like, are you questioning that yourself? Right? Do you have an answer for that? Right? So those are all things that, we all as human will talk about, will think about, will realize. And let's be honest, that's never going to change, right? Because we go through changes differently. Individuals um, go through changes in a different way each time. And let's be honest, when I think of like change, I think of like, I love change because it means that I'm going to be the best version of myself. It means that I'm going to do things better. I don't think of change as in I'm going to change and be worse. I'm thinking of I'm changing because I want to better myself. I'm changing what doesn't work to make room for what works. I'm changing what is not giving me anything for the things that are giving me more. And when I think of the things that are giving me, is it giving me peace? Is it giving me freedom? Is it giving me, my values? Is it aligning with my values? Is it giving me, satisfaction? Is it making me happy? Am I loving it? And that's how I see change. So if you think of burnout, ask yourself those questions, right? Ask yourself, how am I feeling? Do I really want this life, right? Do I want this career? Do I want freedom? Do I want ownership? Do I want peace? And I'll tell you, ask yourself those questions because entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And I have friends who have told me, I want to be an entrepreneur. Help me out. And I said, okay, fine. I'll give you what it means, how you can do it, how you can get to it. And then I see them struggle to break through the entrepreneurial life. And then they realize it's a lot of work. I want to go back to corporate. And I said, great. Let's figure out how you're going to pivot back to corporate. Because over the past year or 2 years, you've been an entrepreneur. And now you're going to pivot into corporate, right? It's possible. Absolutely. Everything is possible. Never tell yourself that you cannot do things. You can do anything that you want to do as long as you put work and effort in it. You can be whoever you want to be. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. You just need to work for it. Like, you need to put your mind investment into making sure that what you want to do is possible, right? You need to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, then it's not going to happen. And that's how you got to see it. If I don't put in the work, it's not going to happen. But I believe in you and I know that you can. So put every effort forward to be the best version of yourself and find who is it that you want to be. Do I want to be a corporate individual? What do I need to do to get there? Do I need to actualize myself, go learn AI if it's necessary, find, the dream job, educate myself to get the dream job? Or do I want to be an entrepreneur because I want freedom, because I want ownership, because I want to build something that helps people, that helps businesses, that helps others? Whatever you are thinking for your decision to become an entrepreneur, or for your decision to move into corporate in whatever role you desire, it is in your hands. It's not in the hands of anybody. So you need to do the research. You need to do the work. You need to do the questioning of your mind, your heart. Is that what I want? Because I cannot make the decision for you. That decision is yours. So let's move from that and let's talk about AI. Yes, AI is changing business faster than anything else. I'm telling you, it's changing faster than anybody realizes. Like, if you're not, if you have not heard about AI, if you have not heard about large language models, then OMG, let's talk. So, let's talk about AI. I think a lot of people are underestimating what's happening right now. A lot of people are just living their life like, oh, whatever. Oh, it's AI. Yeah, it's just another trendy thing. It's just another thing, like, when social media came out. People, AI is not coming. AI is here right now. And the people who learn how to adapt are going to move differently over the next few years. AI is going to change absolutely everything. Right now, me talking to you live, even though nobody is actually watching this, I hope a lot of people will, but knowing that not a lot of people watching this, no big deal. AI is here. I know it. And AI is changing how you create content, how you do marketing, how you do customer service, how you do operations, how you do sales, how you do automation, how you do education, how you do consulting, how you do administration. And honestly, just about every single industry is being disrupted by AI. So I don't care what industry you're in. I don't. Whatever industry you're in, think, how will AI change what I do? How can I be part of that change? Because the reality is, it's not that it's going to happen, it's that it's happening right now. It's not when, it's already here. So what are you doing to stay relevant, right? You want to stay relevant. And here's the thing. I don't think that AI will replace humans. No. I don't think that it will replace it completely. No. I don't think that. I think that AI is going to replace people who refuse to adapt because AI is here. So let's have a real conversation about that. Let's talk. AI is my thing. That's my jam these days, right? I'm always either figuring out automation, finding things to do. And I will tell you, I use AI. I use AI in so many things. You know how easy it is to actually go through the process of putting out your business in a, let's call it a project, through a large language model. Have that large language model deconstruct your business, from one side to the other, right? And then, right? And then tell you, where are my gaps? How can I make this better? Give me my plan for the next 90 days, or give that business the plan for the next 90 days. That is amazing. And believe it or not, that is a consultant that you have at your fingertips, because a lot of the large language model offer a free subscription. So you can have your own very free limited option. You can pay if you want. You can use spaces like Chat Hub to do it. But the reality is that there's so many ways in which AI can make your business better, and people are stuck in the conversation of this is replacing humans. We need to move from that because we need to control the narrative. We need to control the security. We need to control the legislation. We need to control the information, right? We cannot continue to wait until we hear from second, third hand how AI is changing things. We need to be part of that change. That's the way I see it, right? So, when you think about entrepreneurs, and I'm talking entrepreneurs because I am an entrepreneur, and this impacts me directly. I'm learning systems. I self-taught myself coding because I wanted to know what is this whole thing, right? And I should say I taught myself coding. AI taught me Python, which is it's a pretty universal for people that know how to code. Coding. Do I need it? No. I can use Claude Code. I can use ChatGPT Codex and do coding. I wanted to learn because I want to know the systems. I want to know the automations. But that's just me, control freak that I am, right? So I want to know. And if I want to know, I want to test it. I want to see what it does. So I went down that rabbit hole a year or so ago, and here I am. I have made a lot of automations. I have created a lot of automations. And I had to learn how to build those automations. If you're an entrepreneur who learns systems, automations, branding, positioning, communication, and strategic thinking, those are massive opportunities. Those are massive opportunities. That doesn't mean that AI is going to replace you. It means that you are building a strategic advantage for you and your business, for you and your clients, right? This is why personal branding matters now more than ever. Because people still buy trust, right? People still buy leadership. People still buy clarity. People still buy confidence. AI can generate information to no end, and people will use that information, but people connect people. And AI can generate information, but people connect to people. Remember that. You want the authenticity. You want the individual behind what's happening. That's what brand is so important these days. That's why it's important to stay true to yourself. Be authentically yourself. This is why I'm live with no lipstick, with my hair up in a bun, straight out of dropping off my son in the middle of my office that is still under construction, because I don't need to fake it. I'm already here. And what is that going to do to me to show you a version of myself that is not true? Here, I still have the box from my daughter's 21st birthday. This is, I have books on this side. I mean, everything is stuck up because my office is still under construction inside my house, right? So think of it in this way. Authenticity, people to people, that's never going to change. You're always going to crave human connection. You're always going to want human connection. And let's just assess a little bit as we dive into this conversation. Let me ask you guys something. How many of you are, one, curious about AI, two, scared about AI, three, already using AI, and four, overwhelmed by AI? Because everywhere you see is AI. Drop the number in the comment, right? Drop it in the comment. I want to know. I want to assess what that is. What is that number? How are you feeling about it? Because the reality is that the fear is legit. I know a lot of people who are afraid of what this can mean for us in years to come, but more than what it means for us, what it means for our children and our children's children. What are we creating for them? What are we leaving behind, right? Because, hello, we're not getting any younger. And then who is curious because you just don't know much about it, that you feel I don't know much about it. I don't know if I want to feel afraid, optimistic, or ready to use AI, or overwhelmed about everything that everybody says. So I want to know. Tell me how you feel. Okay, so let's move this topic from AI into money, fear, entrepreneurship, because that's where this is all leading to, right? One thing I need people to understand is this. Entrepreneurship is not just about making money. Entrepreneurship exposes you, and it exposes your habits, your fears, your discipline, your confidence, your emotional stability, also your relationship with money. You can be a successful entrepreneur and you can also have a bad relationship with money. So it's going to expose all of it. So when you think of entrepreneurship, be aware of everything that is going to expose for you, right? A lot of people say they want freedom. I want freedom. I want freedom to choose. I want freedom to do what I want. I want freedom to travel whenever I want without anybody saying, no, you can't. You don't have enough time to take off. I want to just take off whenever I want and work from wherever I want. I'm here in Massachusetts today, but if I choose or if I want to be in Japan in a week, I want to go to Japan in a week, right? Or if I want to go to Colombia or Dominican Republic, I don't want anybody to tell me, no, you cannot go, right? I want to make sure that those decisions are not made by someone else, that I have control of those decisions. So I think that when I say freedom, what I'm saying is I want the freedom to choose. I want the freedom to be and do what I want, when I want, without anybody telling me otherwise. Okay? So for me, that translates into entrepreneurial life, entrepreneurship. Am I afraid of money sometimes? Yes. Yes, every entrepreneur is. Do I fear what's going on in the world and how the economy is evolving? Yes, just like anybody else. The thing is that a lot of people that say that they want freedom, they haven't really developed the mindset required to sustain freedom, right? Because freedom requires responsibility. And that's one of the hardest part about entrepreneurship. It's uncertainty. And entrepreneurship is uncertain, right? Some days you feel unstoppable. Some days you feel like nobody can stop you from doing everything that you envision, everything that is in your head. Other times you feel inspired to do a lot of things, to walk the entire world in like no shoes or with no shoes. Other days you feel powerful because you accomplish everything that you needed to accomplish for that day, for that week, for that month, and you're so powerful and I can do anything that I want to do, right? But other days, more days than you want, there are no sales, bills are due, you're overwhelmed because you overextended yourself, you're exhausted, tired, because you have a million things that you need to do. And other times, you're doubting yourself because you're like, God, I did that for me, but is it going to work for them? Are they going to do what I told them to do? Why are they not answering? Why are they not doing what I told them to do? Right? And that's why mindset matters. That's why having the right mindset when you're feeling unstoppable, inspired, powerful, because you have that freedom of entrepreneurship is so important. It's not the motivational quotes. They're great. They make you feel good that moment. It's not the fake hype. They, oh my God, fire, crown, queen, yay. No, it's not that. It's the real mindset, right? It's what's here. It's what's driving you. It's the ability to continue building even when you know there's uncertainty, even when you feel the uncertainty in your veins and you're still moving forward and you're still doing things, right? That is mindset. That is the real mindset. You know you have something that will work and you continue to do it. Some people might call it, insanity, but I call it, real mindset. When you put your mind to something and you work towards it no matter what, and you do it no matter what, that is real mindset. And the fear assists, the money will come, but if your mindset's straight, it all multiplies. It just multiplies altogether. That's the way I see it. So let's wrap things up. Let's talk about reinventing yourself, because I know that we haven't touched base on reinventing yourself. So let's talk about reinventing yourself. And I have some notes here about reinventing yourself. I think that's one of the hardest things. Reinventing yourself, I think, is one of the hardest things in life, because you need to learn and you need to accept that you outgrown a version of yourself that's no longer there. I'll tell you, you need to always be assessing who you are, right? Who you want to become. Like, is this serving me any purpose? Is this working for me? There are times that I talk to people and they tell me, I just don't know anymore. And if you are one of those people that is in the I just don't know anymore, I invite you to assess yourself. Think about, do I want this life? Do I want this career? Do I love what I'm doing? Do I want freedom? Do I want joy? Do I want money? Do I want to protect my peace? What do you want? And do respond to those questions without thinking of anyone else around you. Be selfish on those responses, because you are the one building and reinventing yourself. You need to be selfish of those answers, because those answers are really going to lead you to where you're going to go next, right? That is the thin top layer of making the decision. Yes, I need to reinvent myself. I outgrown who I was. I need to find the next version of myself. Asking those questions help you, right? Another thing that you got to think about is it's hard. It's hard. It's not going to be easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Nothing comes easy in this world, right? Everything requires time, effort, mental, right? Sometimes the old version of yourself is safe and it feels safer, familiar. You accepted who that is, so you're comfortable. You're very predictable on who you are, because you are yet to discover who you need to become. So both growth requires discomfort, You need to be uncomfortable. You need to feel yourself uncomfortable with that version of yourself that no longer serves you, so that you can move from there into a transition that you um, that you want to accomplish, right? Um, I want you to understand something. You're not behind, right? You're not behind because this is your life. You make it what you want. You're not behind. You're in transition. There's a difference. Behind is everybody's ahead of you. You're behind. In transition is I'm evolving. I am no longer that person, and I need to become the next version of myself. And I'm not saying the best version of yourself, because you define what that is. You define what the best version of yourself is. You decide the difference. It's in your hands. You make that decision, not me. I cannot say, oh, that's the best version of yourself, because I didn't know the old version of yourself. You did. You knew what that was. So you can transition and identify what you made better for you, for your family, for who you want to be, for your dreams, for your life, for your freedom, for whatever. You make that decision. I don't. Mine is different than yours. They might have similarities, but my ambitions are different than yours. They cannot be the same, right? They can have similarities, but they're not the same. So there's a difference. Know that. You're not behind. You're in transition. Remember that. Get that in your head. Some of you are rebuilding financially, right? Some of you are rebuilding emotionally. Some of you are rebuilding spiritually, right? You're rebuilding professionally. But rebuilding does not mean failure. And if you read my book, Overcoming Career Setbacks, failure is not an option. Resilience is, right? Rebuilding means you are aware that a change needs to happen and you are aware of it. So rebuilding is awareness. You already know you need to rebuild, so you are aware of what needs to happen. And honestly, some of the most successful people you admire, they all had to reinvent themselves. Some of the most successful people, they had to go through a breakthrough for them to become who they are today. You know, you can talk about what was that pivotal moment that changed those individuals' life. And again, that's when they figure out that they needed to rebuild. That's when they were aware that they needed to transition, to pivot, to change who they were, to become the best version of themselves, or to become the next version of themselves. So think about that. So again, you're not behind. You are in transition. Say that to yourself. You are not behind. You are in transition. Okay? Let's agree to that. Let's agree to that on reinventing yourself. You are not behind. You're in transition. Okay? And nobody decides who the next version of yourself is other than yourself. You choose what that is. You choose who you become. Okay? So let's do a rapid fire. Reinvention is choosing growth over comfort. The biggest lie about success is that successful people never struggle emotionally. That's a huge lie. Like lie. Pinocchio lie. Okay? Successful people struggle. We all struggle. We all go through that. Something I'm no longer available for, shrinking myself or shrinking, to fit into spaces that I outgrown, right? I'm no longer changing who I am to make other people feel comfortable. If you don't like me, that's your problem. I like myself very well. If you don't like who I am, good riddance. You don't need to watch me. You don't need to be here. I like myself the way I am. I love myself the way I am. Learn to love yourself. Learn to accept yourself. And if people don't like that, let them not like it. The person that needs to like it so it's you. You're the one that needs to love yourself. Love yourself. Love who you are. Love what you do. That's becoming the next version of yourself. Accepting who you are. Be aware, because that's how you rebuild who you become. Now, one thing people need to start doing immediately, right, is you need to start building skills, and you need to take ownership of your life, ownership of your company, ownership of who you are and who you're becoming. Don't leave that in the hands of others. That is yours. Your responsibility. You're the owner. You need to take care of it. Okay? So, before I go, I want to leave you with this. Reinvention is not becoming someone else. That is not it. Okay? I keep saying, you decide. Reinvention is not becoming someone else. I don't want you to become me. I don't want to become you. You decide who your next is. You decide what your next version is. You decide what is the next version of yourself. Whatever that is yours. You own it, build the skills for it. The other thing that I will say is, it's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be, without limitations. You once accepted. So you might have been limited before on certain things. I want you to think that you're becoming who you were always meant to be, and you are overcoming your limitations because you have accepted that you outgrown your own version. So you need to become the next version of yourself that is what you always were meant to be. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Life feels uncomfortable right now in general, regardless of where you stand. Life feels uncomfortable. If things feel uncertain, if you feel like you're rebuilding, that does not mean your life is falling. That doesn't mean that your life is falling. That doesn't mean that your life is falling. That just means that you already know who you are, you're aware that you know who you are, and you know that sometimes it means your next level is being built in real time, right? So remember that. If you feel like you're rebuilding, that does not mean your life is falling apart. Sometimes it means your next level is being built in real time. So take care of yourself, protect your peace, protect your mind, learn new skills, adapt, build, stay consistent, and stop underestimating what your life is and it isn't. Stop underestimating yourself. Stop underestimating what your life can become in the next few years, because everything can change faster than you think. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for actually watching this afterwards. As I said, I promised I was going to go live multiple times. I have not been able to do that. This is my one day to go live with you and kind of share everything that's in my mind. And everything I share today is things that I wanted to share throughout the week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope um, that this was enjoyable for you, that you're able to get something out of this. My goal is to share my journey with you. If this conversation resonates with you, make sure to subscribe. Share this live with someone, you know, that needs it. Someone that probably needs that motivation, and I shouldn't say that motivation, but someone that needs to hear this, and somebody who probably can share information with us through the different comment section and can learn from all of this that we talked about today. And again, I will forever be grateful. If you haven't subscribed, please do. If you don't haven't liked my video, please do. Everything I do it from the bottom of my heart to share my journey, to share who I am authentically myself, as you can see. And there's no stopping me. Like I said earlier, I love myself the way I am. Nothing that you say about me is going to discourage me from helping others that find this information useful. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Share this live, subscribe. We know someone needs to hear this, and I will see you on the next one. Pa'lante, mi gente.